So, for those of you who don't know, I am here in Orlando. And in Orlando, we are not visiting Disney World. I'm not interested in Mickey Mouse. I'm interested in Krishna. So I have a simple kirtan tonight. Chant the prayers of the Lord Nrsingadev. It's out of tune, so I just unpacked the guitar. We're going to tune it as we're waiting for more people to show up. Okay. Namaste, Narashinaya, Adonai, Kasi, Chaka, Silatamka, Kolaye, Tul Singa, Tul Singo, Tuya Tuya, Tul Singa, Lahira Singo, Ridaya, Singo, Singa, Matim, Shakanam, Brahma Joy, Singa Matim, Shakanam, Brahma Joy, Singa Matim, Shakanam, Brahma Joy. Never gonna come another rain I come to sing Dali da, he run the cussy gonna bring Sabadri down the goodies of the day Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Day. Hati Rama Puri Rama, Rama Rama Hare Day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Prabhupada, Jai, Srila Prabhupada. Nrsimha Bhagavan ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prastaya Bhudle. Shimani Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste. Saraswati Devi. Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha. Shunyavadi Paschatya Teja Tarani. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, I just chanted the prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. We're going to read the translation. So, I offer my obeisances to Lord Nrsimhadev, who gives joy to his dear, most devotee Prahlad Maharaj, and whose nails are as chisels on the stone-like chest of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Lord Nrsimhadev is here, and Lord Nrsimha is also there. Wherever I go, there is Lord Nrsimha. Lord Nrsimha is outside, and Lord Nrsimha is within my heart. Unto Lord Nrsimha, the origin and supreme shelter, I surrender. And then, O Keshava, Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of half man, half lion, all glories to you. Just as one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. Nrsimhadev ki Jai. It's a beautiful song. We chant that, of course, every day after the arti. So, with that in mind, let us go on to the Jaiva Dharma. It's good to see some people. I'm here in Orlando, Florida right now, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I am not going to Disney World. I am associating with the devotees and even initiation tomorrow, which will roughly be at the same time. So you're welcome to watch the initiation, same time, same channel, same station, on Zoom or on YouTube or on Facebook. So, with that in mind, so Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shi Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So let's go. We're going to share the screen now. And let's see, Jaiva Dharma. Where are you, Jaiva Dharma? Hold on a second. I have to find the right place for Jaiva Dharma. There we go. Jaiva Dharma ki Jai. Okay. And we'll put up the chat window. So, here's an interesting. So we're going to hear some personal interactions today between Brajanath and Uncle Vijay Kumar. Okay. So what happened is that Brajanath got married. Oh my God. And he understood from the instructions of the Babaji he wasn't going to impede his spiritual life. At the same time, Vijay Kumar, his uncle, didn't come to the marriage. I mean, he sent people to arrange for the marriage, but he didn't come to the marriage. Why is that? He's his uncle. I mean, what's the problem? Let me just make sure the sound level's all right. Hold on a second. I have to reset the sound level. So what's the problem with an uncle coming to the marriage? He really happens just to be a little more detached from this world. Well, we're going to find out. So finally, Vijay Kumar, the uncle of Brajanath just got married, comes and he visits Brajanath. And Brajanath asks him, Uncle, he says, why is your mind unsettled these days? Please tell me privately. On your order, I have become bound by the chains of samsara. In other words, that's a fancy way of saying, I just got married. What have you decided to do about your own situation? Vijay Kumar said, I've decided to go to Jagannath Puri to see Jagannath in Puri. I will make the journey with some other pilgrims in a few days. Let us go and ask for permission from Gurudev. After eating in the afternoon, Brajanath and Vijay Kumar went to Mayapur and revealed everything to Babaji, that's Guru Maharaj, and asked blessings to make the journey to Puri. Babaji said in great bliss, in the house of Kashi Mishran Puri at Mahaprabhu's sitting place, Gopal Guru Goswami, a disciple of Prakeshra, is present nowadays. You should meet him and take instructions from him with devotion. He has the teachings of Sarup Goswami in his throat. Wow. So who is Prakeshra Pandit? Prakeshra Pandit was an associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced like anything, and he could dance for 72 hours without stopping. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said about him that if I had two followers like you, and you're like a wing, then I could fly in the air because I'd have two wings. I believe he was Aniruddha in Krishna's pastimes anyway. But in any case, Gopal Guru Goswami is a famous disciple of Rakeshwara Pandit, so we're going to hear about him. So while returning, Brajanath, with great eagerness, revealed his desire to go to Puri too. Vijay Kumar was overjoyed. Coming to the house, Brajanath revealed his plan. His grandmother decided to go with him. His grandmother was a great devotee too. I mean, the whole family were devotees. I mean, not just Vijay Kumar, not just Brajanath. By the beginning of Jeshta month, pilgrims began walking the road to Puri, giving up their houses. After some days, they passed Dantana and arrived at Jaleshvara. After seeing Shira Chora Gopinath, they arrived at Viraja Kshetra. So Shira Chora Gopinath, I think everybody knows that story. If you don't, tell it real quickly. He is the deity that stole sweet rice for his devotee, Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri wanted to get some sweet rice, not to enjoy, but he wanted to get some sweet rice so he could understand how it was made, so he could make it for his deity, Gopal, who was in Vrindavan. So, as he was thinking like that, he became embarrassed because he was thinking of tasting the sweet rice even before it was offered. But for service. He wasn't in Maya, of course. And so he went to the marketplace, sat down, chanted Hare Krishna, and rested for the night in the marketplace, chanting at the same time. In the meantime, the deity steals a pot of the sweet rice, keeps it under his cloth, tells the pujari in a dream that I've stolen sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. And so he's in the marketplace, and so this pujari goes to the marketplace and says, is anyone here called Madhavendra Puri? And Madhavendra Puri says, I'm here. And the pujari says, you're very fortunate, Gopinath has stolen the sweet rice for you. You're the most fortunate person in the three worlds. So he took the sweet rice and he saved that pot in which it was a clay pot, and every day he would eat a little piece of that pot for the rest of his pastimes on the earth planet. So anyway, so Shira Chora Gopinath is in a place called Ramuna, which is also called Jaleshvara. I've been there several times. Beautiful deity. Actually, the deity there, just a little more information, was carved by Lord Ramchandra. What happened is that Lord Ramchandra was asked by Sita Devi, as they were in this place, Jaleshvara, what do you look like in Dwapara Yuga? And Lord Ram said, I will show you. He took his arrow out and a stone and carved a bas-relief deity on the stone, and that deity is Shira Chora Gopinath. The name means the deity of Gopinath, that means the Lord of the Gopis, who has stolen sweet rice for his devotee, Madhavendra Puri. After completing Nabigaya Kriya, so that's a river, and bathing in the Vaitarani, another river, they went to Kataka town and saw Gopal. In a mango grove, they saw Lingaraj and then arrived at Puri. So the Gopal is referred to here is another famous deity known as Shakshi Gopal. And this deity is on the way to Jagannath Puri. This deity walked all the way across India. And I don't have time to tell the whole story, but he walked all the way across India to witness a marriage promise that an older Brahmin made to a younger Brahmin for his daughter. Not that the older Brahmin wanted to marry the younger Brahmin. That is not really the case in those days. But he made it. He said, "You can marry my daughter," but his family objected. And he made that promise in front of this deity Gopal, who was in Vrindavan. And so the younger Brahmin, in order to protect the vow of the older Brahmin, and so the older Brahmin could actually complete his promise in spite of his family's objections, walked all the way back across India, convinced the deity to walk all the way back the other way across India to around Jagannath Puri, well, actually to Bengal at that particular point, and then witness. So he came back, witnessed, and the younger Brahmin married the older Brahmin's daughter, and they lived happily ever after. Of course, they were all pure devotees, so they definitely did live happily ever after. So in a mango grove, they saw Lingaraj, that's the presiding Lord Shiva deity of Jagannath Puri, and then arrived at Puri. The pilgrims obtained places given by their individual pandas. Pandas like a local tour guide. You know, they charge money, get donations. They're not the Brahmins in the temple. They're like the tour guides in Jagannath Puri. Vijay Kumar and Brajanath and his grandmother stayed at Harichandi Sahi. They began to visit the tirthas according to the rules, took bath in the ocean, saw Pancha Tirtha, means the 5 tirthas, ate prasadam. After staying for 3 or 4 days, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath saw a picture of Mahaprabhu in the temple, and after seeing Mahaprabhu's footprints and fingerprints, overcome with great prema, they entered the house of Kashi Mishra on the same day. They saw the Gambira, a room made of stone in Kashi Mishra's house and Mahaprabhu's wooden shoes. So this is the Gambira. Gambira means very deep. So the Gambira was the place where Lord Chaitanya stayed in Jagannath Puri. And so within that room, on one side was the temple of Radhakanta. That's for Keshava Pandit's deities. Radhakanta, Radhakanta. And on the other side was the sitting place of Gopal Guru Goswami. And as we're going to see, Gopal Guru Goswami has a famous disciple named Janachandra Goswami, but we're going to hear more about him in a second. Their voices choked in bliss. Vijay Kumar and Brajanath fell at the feet of Gopal Guru Goswami, because he was a direct disciple for Keshava Pandit. Seeing their devotion, the Goswami mercifully embraced them and had them sit down. He asked, "Who are you?" When Vijay Kumar and Brajanath introduced themselves, his eyes flowed with tears. Wow. Hearing the name of Navadweep, he said, "Today, seeing residents of the Dham, I have been fortunate. How are Raghunath Das, Gaurachanda Das, and other Vaishnavas in Mayapur? When I think of Raghunath Das, I think of my Shiksha Guru Das Goswami." That's actually Raghunath Das Goswami. It's a predecessor to the persons we've been reading about. Then the Goswami called his disciple Janachandra and said, this is Janachandra who I mentioned before, "These 2 great souls should receive prasad here today." They went to Janachandra's room and received Mahaprasad. After eating, the 3 conversed for a long time. Understanding that Vijay Kumar was expert at Bhagavatam and that Brajanath was learned in all scriptures, Janachandra became blissful and revealed all this to Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru said, "You two are the treasure of my heart." See how much love the Vaishnavas had? I mean, he just met him for the first time. But, just so much attraction and attachment on the spiritual platform. Wow. Gopal Guru said, "You two are the treasure of my heart. Stay a few days in Puri and let me see you." Vijay Kumar and Brajanath said, "Prabhu, in Mayapur, Raghunath Das Babaji was unlimitedly merciful to us and ordered us to accept teachings at your feet." Gopal Guru said, "Raghunath Das is most learned." That's their spiritual master, of course, Raghunath Das Babaji. It's not the Raghunath Das Goswami, it's Raghunath Babaji. "You should follow carefully whatever instructions he has given. If you desire to know more, come tomorrow afternoon, and after taking prasad, ask questions." Receiving this instruction from Guru Goswami, the two returned to Hara Chandi Sahi. That's the place where they stayed. Actually, when I stay there, in Jagannathpur, I go to a place called the Birla Guest House, which is a very private place, right by the ocean, not in the hotel area. And it's very, very beautiful. And every morning we'd walk on the beach and then go swimming. And Jagannathpur is an amazing place. The next day, at the appointed time, the two took prasad at the Radhakanta temple and addressed Guru Goswami. "Prabhu, we desire to know rasa tattva." That means the truth or the science of the tastes of devotional service, or the relationships of devotional service. "We will be successful if we hear the rasas of Krishna Bhakti, love of Krishna, from your mouth. You are the foremost guru of Chaitanya's Sampradaya." Sampradaya means disciplic succession. "And are present as guru for the whole world on the seat of Swarup Goswami. Hearing about Ras from your mouth, our learning will bear fruit." Now, for those of you who don't know who Swarup Goswami is, that's Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's principal assistant, companion, he, and of course Ramananda Roy. And Swarup Damodar Goswami is considered to be the incarnation of Lalita Devi in Krishna's pastimes. And Ramananda Roy is considered to be the incarnation of Vishaka. So Vishaka and Lalita are the two companions of Srimati Radharani. Having obtained suitable students, Gopal Guru blissfully began speaking in his solitary place. Wow. Such amazing personalities. Gopal Guru is actually a historical personality, as is Janachandra. As far as Vijay Kumar and Brajanath, my understanding is their personalities who Bhaktivinoda Thakur is utilizing in a teaching sense. They may or may not have been actual personalities, but he's utilizing a teaching sense to teach us about the tattvas and the rasas and the bhavas of devotional service. But Gopal Guru Goswami and Janachandra, who wrote his Padati. Padati means instructions on internal meditation of Radha and Krishna. So having obtained suitable students, Gopal Guru blissfully began speaking in a solitary place. May the son of Shachi, Nimai Pandit, that's Lord Chaitanya, who appearing in Mayapur, Navadvip, mercifully gave his association to the people of Gauda and Odia, that's Orissa and Bengal, bestow bliss to us. May Swarup Goswami, who constantly gave bliss to Mahaprabhu while serving Madhurya Ras. Madhurya Ras means the conjugal relationship that the gopis had with Krishna, appear in our hearts. May Vikreshwar Pandit, whose dancing controlled Mahaprabhu, I mentioned before, he could dance for 72 hours without stopping, and mercifully purified Devananda Pandit, bring you auspiciousness. So Devananda Pandit had committed offenses against Srivas Thakur and his offenses were mitigated by serving another devotee for Keshava Pandit, and later on, of course, Devananda Pandit had to apologize to Srivas Thakur. But you see, that's one methodology of dealing with offenses against Vaishnavas. Of course, ultimately, you do have to apologize to the Vaishnava who you offended. But still, you should serve other Vaishnavas in the meantime. Rasa, the taste, is an incomparable tattva category. It is directly the rising moon on the form of manifesting pastimes of Parabrahman, that's Krishna. When Krishna Bhakti, the love of Krishna, becomes pure and takes the form of action, it is called Bhakti Ras. I mean, it's just like a taste of Bhakti. And of course, a manifestation of that are the different bhavas that we mentioned before. Brajana said, is rasa a predetermined tattva for a jiva? For a jiva. In other words, is it predetermined, okay, what your rasa is? Even though right now, you or I or the rest of us may be in complete illusion, but is our rasa actually built in? That's an interesting question that later on we're going to recognize. I cannot answer this in one word. You will understand when I elaborate a little. The Krishna rati, like the intense taste or love that you heard from your guru, is called the sthai bhava. When that is nourished, it becomes the rasa of Krishna bhakti. Let me explain what that is. So we talked about bhavas before, okay. So we touched upon vibhavas. So vibhava means, as explained by the Babaji in Mayapur, is that which stimulates the other emotions that come out. You know, the emotion that stimulates. So, and we mentioned before that the stimulation factor can be directly Krishna or things related with Krishna. Directly Krishna means, well, that's easy to understand. Krishna. Okay, I see Krishna playing his flute, direct Krishna. But things related with Krishna are things like Krishna's a peacock feather, or you see a flute. Just like in my house in North Carolina, there's a flute on one of the seats that I have, or close to the seat. And I just think of Krishna when I see the flute. That's a vibhava, which is called an udipana. You don't have to remember these terms. But that's actually what vibhava is. Now, connected with the vibhava, you also have something called the sthai bhava. Sthai bhava means the steady relationship, bhava, emotion, the emotion that's connected with your relationship. For example, if you were situated in parental relationship with Krishna, your bhava or emotions would be connected with that parental relationship. So the sthai bhava is very much connected with whatever relationship you have with Krishna, whether it's the shanta, peaceful relationship, servitude relationship, friendship relationship, parental relationship, or the conjugal relationship. And that's what the sthai bhava is. Sthai means steady, your steady bhava, that which is constitutional. And when that is nourished, then you taste, which is the ras, then you have this taste of love of Krishna, Krishna Bhakti. So Rajana said, please explain a little bit about the sthai bhava and the ingredients of ras. So the ingredients of ras are like bhava being rasa samagri, it's called. So in other words, you mix, which was what we're going to hear. We did not hear how the bhavas mix and become ras, or taste, how the emotions mix and they become the taste you have in devotional service. Really beautiful stuff. You know, sthai bhava is just one of the bhavas, the types of emotions, you know, the steady emotions that are connected with your particular individual relationship. Generally, bhakti, that love, in the form of bhava, emotion, it's called bhava rupa bhakti, the rupa means form, the form of the emotion, love, is called Krishna Rati, Krishna love. That rati appearing in the heart by impressions from previous and this life attains the state of rasa, taste, becoming the very form of bliss. The ingredients, it's called rasa samagri, is the technical Sanskrit word. The ingredients, besides the sthai bhava, the different bhavas are four. The vibhava, which I just mentioned, the stimulation, anubhava, the voluntary expressions, and we're going to hear more about this. Satvika bhava, we heard a little bit about that in the past too. There's ashtash, which means 8 of these emotions that come from the consciousness coming in contact with the pure mode of goodness in the spiritual realm. And vyabhachari, or sanchari bhavas, which is the same thing. Vyabhachari and sanchari are just different ways of expressing the same bhava, the same emotion. Sanchari, the word sanchari means, sanchari means the emotions or symptoms of emotions that continually move throughout the body, and they're uncontrollable. There's 33 of them that are listed by Srila Rupa Goswami that are moved throughout the body. There's 33 of them, and they come without any warning, and they're uncontrollable. So the question was raised today. I think I should answer this question publicly for everybody, that we are talking about Raganuga Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So aren't we just supposed to be the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami? Well, all these things that are being described here are actually elaborations on Rupa Goswami's teachings in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is the book written by Rupa Goswami. And in the modern day and age, the translation or commentary is Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion. And some of the later topics that are going to be dealt with in the Jaiva Dharma are from Rupa Goswami's Ujjvala Nilamani, which is the more advanced study that takes up where Nectar of Devotion leaves off. Now that's very, very advanced, and I don't advise devotees to read that book until they actually realize their spiritual identity. So here, getting back to Gopal Guru Goswami. Gopal Guru Goswami says, first I'll explain the ingredients. In other words, the 5 types of bhava that have just been mentioned. The sthai, and the vibhava, anubhava, satvika bhava, and vyabhachari bhavas, and vyabhachari or sanchari bhavas. Okay. First I'll explain the ingredients. The cause of tasting rati, or love, is the vibhava, that which stimulates your love. This is something I went over before, but there's no harm in going over again, because in this way you're going to have a tendency to remember it, hopefully. It has 2 parts, alambana and udipana. Remember I mentioned that before? So, alambana means directly Krishna, and udipana means things that are related to Krishna, like a peacock feather, okay, that stimulate your love. You see it, and you fall into ecstasy, just like there was one devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mukunda, who was speaking to a Muslim king. And as he was speaking to the Muslim king, he was standing on this dais where the Muslim king was seated, and he was explaining medical science to him. And then someone comes up and starts fanning the Muslim king with a peacock fan. And so the Muslim king, when Mukunda saw the peacock feather and the peacock fan, he was reminded of Krishna and felt so much ecstasy he fell to the ground. The Muslim king came down and said, "What's the problem, Mukunda?" And Mukunda said, "The problem is that I have epilepsy." And the king said, No, this is a symptom of ecstasy, udipana. Okay, so the king understood the philosophy a little bit. So alambana, the direct experience of Krishna, has two parts, Vishaya and Ashraya. So this is very easy to understand. Let me just translate these two terms. Vishaya means the enjoyer, basically, and Ashraya, or the object of the love. Ashraya means where the love, or the person in whom the love reposes. So, of course, the devotee is the Ashraya. He has the love, and Krishna is the Vishaya, the object of love. Of course, when you get really into advanced understanding of these things, sometimes the roles are switched. When the devotee is seen by Krishna, sometimes Krishna is the one who expresses the love for the devotee. So that happened in the case of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Gopakumar becomes perfectly realized in terms of his spiritual identity, goes back to Krishna Loka, and Krishna just like faints upon seeing him. So at that particular point, Krishna becomes the Ashraya, and Gopakumar is the Vishaya. So in other words, it's a reciprocal relationship with Krishna, but generally, while we're performing devotional service on the platform of Bhava, then Krishna is always the Vishaya, and we are always the Ashraya. Now, when you become an absolute pure devotee, then different things happen. So in other words, Krishna, when you see Krishna, he's the object of love, and you're the repository of love. Vishaya means the object of love, and you're the repository. So that's explained here. I just thought I'd give a preliminary explanation in case anything is unclear in what we're reading. The person who is the object of rati or love is called the Vishaya Krishna. That's what we just said. The person who is the support or the experiencer of rati or love is the Ashraya devotee. Very interesting. Vishaya and Ashraya. The person possessing the rati or the love is the Ashraya. That's the devotee. The person to whom the rati or love is directed is the Vishaya. It just said the same thing in different words. The devotee is the Ashraya, since he has rati in his heart for Krishna, he has love in his heart for Krishna. Krishna is the Vishaya, since the rati, the love, is directed or focused on him. Pretty easy concept to understand, just the terminology may appear to be confusing. So, Rajana said, I've understood that Vibhav has two types, alambana and udipana. Alambana, that means direct experience of two types, Vishaya and Ashraya. Krishna is the Vishaya and the devotees are the Ashraya. I want to know in which case does Krishna become the Ashraya of Rati? So Goswami explains that exactly what I said before. When the devotee feels Rati for Krishna, Krishna is the Vishaya and the devotee is the Ashraya. When Krishna shows Rati, when the devotee feels love, let me just put it in English for Krishna, Krishna is the focus of that love, and the devotee is the repository of the love, the person who is loving. When Krishna shows Rati, love for the devotee, Krishna is the repository, the person loving, and the devotee is the person being loved, the Vishaya. It's pretty easy. Wow. This is pretty nectar. It's all in the nectar of devotion. It's all there. This is all Rupa Goswami. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur putting it in a story format so it's easier for us to understand. Brajanath said, this is really wonderful stuff. Wow. I'm in ecstasy. Brajanath said, we heard from Gurudev that Krishna has 64 qualities. Please tell what else should be said about Krishna. Goswami said, though all qualities are present in Krishna completely, he is perfect in Dwarka, more perfect in Mathura, and most perfect in Gokula. This shows difference based on different degrees of manifestation of qualities. Krishna, this is beautiful. This is also nectar devotion. All this is nectar devotion. It's not something he just came up with. Krishna manifests 4 types according to pastime. These are 4 types of qualities, personal qualities. Dhira dhata, dhira lalita, dhira shanta, and dhira dhata. So some of these qualities are contradictory to other qualities, and they're situational. But these are the 4 main categories of qualities. Of course, if you really get into Krishna, he has unlimited qualities. But these are main categories under which you could categorize all of Krishna's qualities, just to help you understand. I'm sure Krishna has more qualities than that. Brajanath said, what is Dhirodhata? With a long A. The characteristics of Krishna as Dhirodhata are gravity. He's very grave, modest. That means he's shy. He is humble, forgiveness, mercy. He never boasts, devoid of boasting. I am God. And a lack of pride. But you're going to see the opposite in Nirodhata. Brajana said, what is Dhira Lalita? Krishna as the Dhira Lalita hero, by whose qualities his lovers are controlled, is the taster of rasa's fresh youth, is skillful at joking and free of worry. And haven't we seen people like that? I've seen people like Dhirodhatas. I've seen Dhira Lalitas, very joking, playful people. But Krishna is all these. Vrajanath said, what is Dhira Shanta? Goswami said, Krishna as a Dhira Shanta hero is peaceful in nature, tolerates suffering, and is discriminating and modest. Very peaceful. That's similar to Dhirodhata, but now we're going to see something that's really different. Brajanath said, what is Dhirodhata? Goswami said, Krishna as Dhirodhata, according to the pastime, shows envy, pride, deceit, anger, fickleness, and boasting. Remember, that's the opposite of Dhirodhata. Dhirodhata is gravity, modesty, forgiveness, mercy, devoid of boasting, and lack of pride. Here is pride, deceit, anger, fickleness, and boasting. These are really contradictory qualities. Brajanath said, how is it possible to have many opposite qualities? Goswami said, Krishna is naturally beyond control, full of all powers. Thus, by his Achinta Shakti, it is possible to adjust conditions where there are contrary qualities. Kurma Purana says, this is so beautiful. I'm so fortunate, and you are also fortunate to hear these things. Ashulashana nushchoiva stulo nushchayava sarvata avarna sarvata prukta shaimo raktanta lochana aishvarya yogad bhagavan virodarto because he has inconceivable powers, the Lord is described as having contrary qualities, such as being solid and not solid, big and small, without color, and blackish, with red eyes. Tatapi dosha parame navaiharya kadanchana gunavirulat apyete samaharya samandata. Since the fault of birth and transformation can never be found in the Supreme Lord, but contrary qualities are found together in the Lord. So, in other words, Krishna is never born. He always is the same person, the same body, like that. And nothing gets transformed. Krishna's never transformed. Krishna's energies get transformed. Remember we talked about that? Shakti Parinam or Brahma Parinam. Anyways, the whole discussion, just had to refer to my earlier classes. It is said in the Mahabharata Purana Sarve nitya shashvatasya dehastasya paratmana anopadana rakita naiva prakriti jai kvatit paramananda sandhoha jnana matrasya sarvata sarve sarvagunai purna sarvadosha vivarjitaha. All the forms of the Lord are eternal, appearing constantly within the material world with bodies of Paramatma. Does it make sense? So he's the supreme Paramatma. Anyway, there's some English say with bodies, without any, including Paramatma, without any destructible elements made of Prakriti or matter. So they are completely filled with the highest bliss and knowledge, full of all good qualities and devoid of all. So it's important to understand, as we quote often from the Brahma Samhita, Dvaita Chuta Anadi Rananta Rupa Madhyam Purana Purasham Navyofanam Cha Veda Yeshu Durlava Madurlava Matma Bhakto Govindam Hari Purasham Dhamam Jami. That there's only one God, but he manifests himself in a multitude, in unlimited numbers of forms, Ananta Rupam, and he does all that simultaneously, but he's not different. All the forms are the same as the original, and he's the same person. He's not many persons. He's one person, but doing an infinite number of things in an infinite number of places simultaneously. Wow. And that's God, because if he couldn't do that, someone may say, be incredulous and say, not possible. Well, what is not possible for God? Nothing. Everything is possible for God, because that's the definition of God. Everything is possible. Otherwise it wouldn't be God. So he doesn't have to work under the law of cause and effect or any of the logical principles. Okay. I think it's time to take some questions. So let us stop sharing and allow you to unmute yourselves. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Questions you can type in the chat window. Oh, Divine, you have a question. Let's hear.
Hi, David. Thank you for class. The question was about the part where he was naming Krishna in like the different places, like with his qualities. Like he named, I think, Mathura,
Mm-hmm.
Dwarka, and Gokula. I was
Yeah,
wondering
yeah.
why, yeah, why he chose those three and why Vrindavan wasn't mentioned.
Well, he did mention Vrindavan. He said Braj. So let me just go back. Hold on a second. He might have used a different name for it. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit. See where we are. Okay, we're on page. Just want to lose myself. Uh, 4. Oops. Where are we? Oh, probably skipped over. Here we go. He's perfectly enjoying Gokula. Oh, yeah. Gokula is the same as Vrindavan.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Gokula is the same as Vrindavan. Sorry about that. I should have translated that.
That's okay. Why did he choose those three?
Why is it just the three? Because these are the three where Krishna manifests the most qualities and the most intimacy. Like for example, in Dwarka, there's a certain amount of intimacy, more than in the other spiritual planets. But then you go to Mathura, there's more intimacy, because that's where you have like Krishna just like having this intimate relationship with Vasudeva and Devaki, and but not quite the same as Nanda and Yashoda. And then when you go to Vrindavan, it's complete forgetting that Krishna is God. Only in Vrindavan is there absolute forgetfulness that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. That's why it's considered more perfect in terms of intimacy and relating with Krishna as a person rather than as God.
That's,
That makes sense?
yes, thank you.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that explains. Yeah, they use the word go cool. You know, obviously I should have explained that go cool is Vrindavan. So Gokul and Braj, all these things are Vrindavan. Vrindavan, actually, the word Vrindavan refers to the forest of Brinda. In a larger sense, it refers to all the forests in Gokul or Goloka. And Gokul actually, in one sense, sometimes refers to the manifestation of Goloka Vrindavan, which is within this world. It's not like these terms are used in different contexts. Okay, good question. So, who has another question? Question, comment, argument? Nope. Well, if
Hare Krishna Gurudev,
Hare
please
Krishna,
please accept my humble obeisances.
Priya. So, we have a question?
Oh, just a follow up from what you just discussed. So, Nandgram, is that part of Vrindavan as well? Because
Yeah, yeah,
Krishna was
yeah.
in Nandgram.
Nandagram and Gokul. You know, in another sense, Gokul can also refer to the place where Krishna uh, actually appeared in Nanda Maharaj's palace on the other side of the river.
Oh, so
So,
it's just a
but
different part of the river.
in this particular context, the word Gokul refers to the whole of Brajmando.
Okay. How about Varshana? Where
Barshan
and
is
then
Barshan is obviously part of Brajmando.
okay, okay.
Barshana,
So
Nandagan, Vrindakund, Govardhan. So it's just like these words sometimes get very confusing because when we use the word Vrindavan,
mm,
sometimes it refers to the town of Vrindavan. Sometimes
yeah.
it refers to one of the 12 main forests of of Gokul, which is uh, Brindavana, which is one of the 12 forests. And sometimes it
Mm,
refers to the whole area of Mathura Mandala. So it gets very confusing, the nomenclature, because it's not, it's very much contextually dependent.
okay. Yes, because sometimes the even Mathura, when someone refers to Mathura, then I think of that as part of Vrindavan because it's very close.
Yeah,
But it's
sometimes,
not,
yeah, that's
yeah,
true. That's
yeah,
true.
yes.
It's true. So it just depends on the context and
Okay,
what we're indicating. So yeah, so when we use these terms, it's good to clarify them. But
okay,
Gokul refers to Vrindavan. And
okay,
in the context of what we're reading, Gokul does not refer to Mathura. It just refers to the Braj Mandal.
okay. Thanks, Gurudev.
Okay, Haribol.
Haribo.
So, all right, does anyone have any other questions or comments? Any other questions, comments? If not, tomorrow evening, I'll just make an announcement. We're in Orlando, and as I mentioned before, we're not going to Disney World. We're here for an initiation, which will be tomorrow night, and it'll be roughly at the same time, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is the same time wherever you are in the world when you're accustomed. And I'll send out a text message, and hopefully we'll broadcast that tomorrow evening, and that should be exciting for all of you to watch. All right, so thank you very much. All glory is to His divine good.